This lesson's kind of long, so we're going to divide it up into multiplying and then dividing. So let's see how it goes. How do you multiply? Well, you just take each coefficient times itself, each letter, and multiply it, and you end up with 72k to the fourth y to the second. Same thing here. Negative 3 times 15 is negative 45. S squared times s is s to the fifth. And t times t to the fourth is t to the fifth. Same thing here. 4 times 4 is 16. M to the second times m to the fourth is m to the sixth. Okay, how about if you have any two polynomials? Well, the easiest one is a monomial times a polynomial, which is just following the distributive property. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. R times R is R squared. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10R. Now, this first one is pretty easy. So we're going to take the 3 times each of those. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. K will be to the 8th. 3 times 3 is 9. K will be to the 5th. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. K cubed. For this next one, I think the easiest way to do it is to multiply these together first. So I'm going to write the x plus 4 underneath it. And then you would have 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. 4 times 2x is 8x. X times negative 1 is negative x. X times 2x is 2x squared. 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. Now we're going to multiply that by 5x. So we get 10x cubed plus 35x squared minus 20x. So for this case, negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8, x to the 10th. Negative 2 times positive 10 is negative 20, x to the 9th. Now if you notice, they thought people were going to add them, that's why, or multiply them, that's why they put those two foils in there. Probably the easiest one to do it is if you have two things like this, and they're going to teach us the FOIL method in just a second, but why don't we use it now already? First, outside, inside, last. First times the first is 2k times 3k is 6k squared. Outside, 2 times k, 2 times m is 4km. Inside, negative 5m times 3k is negative 15km. I write them in alphabetical order, even though the mk first here came first there. And then the last is negative 5m times 2m is negative 10m squared. Notice these two are like terms, so we end up with 6k squared minus 9km minus 10m squared. You do this one. First, outside, inside, last. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 10 is 30x. Negative 11 times x is negative 11x. And negative 11 times times 10 is negative 110. 3x squared plus 19x minus 110. Now they say do it vertically. Vertically is not the way to go with when it's a two or a binomial times a binomial. FOIL always works. 4x times 3x is 12x squared. 4x times negative y is negative 4xy. Negative 3y times 3x is negative 9xy. Oops, that's a 9. And negative 3y times negative y is positive 3y squared. So we have 12x squared minus 13xy plus 3y squared. Same thing. 6 times negative 3, a, is negative 18a squared. 6a times 5b is 30ab. 5b times negative 3a is negative 15ab. And 5b times 5b is 25b squared. So we end up with negative 18a squared plus 15ab plus 25b squared. Now, if you end up with a 3 and this is a 4 and a 2, we are going to do this one vertically. 5 times negative 3 is, I'm going to start at the front. 2 times 5 is 10, a to the 4th. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, a cubed. 2 times 2 is 4, a squared. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6a. Negative 5 times 5 is 25, and it'll be a cubed, so negative 25a cubed. Negative 5 times negative 6 is plus 30a squared. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10a. Negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15. Now, why did I start at the front? Because I didn't want to end off at the edge of the page. So we have 10a to the 4th. Notice I matched them up vertically. Minus 37a cubed plus 34a squared minus 16a plus 15. This one's a little bit easier. We can do this one starting at the back. Negative 12, positive 15t, negative 9t squared. 4t minus 5t squared, 3t cubed. Add them, we get 3t cubed minus 14t squared plus 19t minus 12. As I said, do the FOIL method is the way we've been doing these, and it works so slick. First is 10r squared. Outsides is minus 25r. Insides is minus 6r. Last is plus 15. Combine these two, we get 10r squared minus 31r plus 15. Firsts, 8y squared. Outsides plus 12yz. Insides minus 2yz. Last is minus 3z squared. 8y squared minus, plus 10yz, that's a squared, minus 3z squared. Okay. FOIL only works though with binomial times a binomial. 15p squared. Outside is 12. Inside is minus 5. 12 minus 5 is 7 kp minus 4k squared. I don't know why they put the negative 2 in front of the x. That just screws you up. Well, we'll do it that way. First is negative 6x. Outside is minus 20. Inside is 3x squared. Last is plus 10x. 3x squared plus 6x minus 20. That's why I would have switched that inside, that first term around so that the x is first. Now, there's some special products that are important to note, and one of them is if you have a difference and a sum of difference of two squares, you get the first term squared minus the second term squared. So this is m squared minus 25, and the reason for that is the plus 5m cancels the minus 5m. X squared minus 16y squared, and that's because the negative 4xy cancels the positive 4xy. This is y squared minus 49 times 4y squared gives us 4y to the fourth minus 4 times 49 is let's see, what is that? 196 y squared. Okay? 9x squared minus 49y squared. That's supposed to be a 2. It looks kind of like a z, doesn't it? This, let's do this part here first, and we get 4k squared minus 9. And then we're going to multiply that by 5k, and we get 20k cubed minus 45k when we get done multiplying it out. A minus 13 times a plus 13 is a squared minus 169. Now, if you have a square, either a sum or a difference, notice you get the first term squared, the last term squared, and twice the middle two. So, first term squared, last term squared, and twice these two, so that's 18t. First term squared, last term squared, twice these two. First term squared plus last term squared. Oops. Come on now. And then twice the first times the last. It's going to be a negative because of that negative sign. 12kn. Okay. So this will be y squared minus 100 or plus 100 minus 20y. 16x squared plus 25y squared plus 4 times 5 times 2 is 40xy. N squared plus 81, this times 2 is plus 18n. Now, if they're a little bit more complicated, notice this is a sum and difference, so it's this squared, x minus y squared minus z squared. But x minus y squared is x squared minus 2xy minus y squared, and then minus z squared. So that's why it's a little bit more complicated. This one is a cube. Let's do the squared part first. That would be p squared plus 4pq plus 4q squared times p plus 2q. Well, we would get p times p squared is p cubed. P times 4pq is plus 4p squared q. P times 4q squared is plus, now here's 4 pq squared, and then here's another 8 pq squared, so that's plus 12 pq squared, and then 4 times 2 is plus 8 q cubed. And then if you multiply it to the fourth, it's actually x squared plus 4x plus 4 times x squared plus 4x plus 4. You get x to the fourth plus 4x cubed plus 4 more x cubed is 8x cubed. 4x squared plus 4 more x squared, plus 16x squared plus 4 more x squared is plus 24. Oops. That went fast. 24 x squared. So you get an x squared here, here, and here. 4, 4, and 16 makes 24. And then plus x's, we've got 16x plus another 16x is 32x plus 16. Okay. This first one is 4x minus y squared minus 4. 4x minus y squared is 16x squared minus 8xy plus y squared minus 4. And then y minus 3 to the fourth is y minus 3 squared. So that's y squared minus 6y plus 9 times y squared minus 6y plus 9 gives us y to the fourth. Here's minus 6y cubed minus 6 more y cubed is minus 12y cubed. Now we got y squareds here, here, and here. 9 plus 9 plus 36 is plus 54 y squared. And then here's minus 54 minus another 54 is minus 108 y plus 81. Hoofda. So we've got the first term, 8x plus 2 squared. The last term, 16y squared. Okay, and now plus twice this times this. So plus 8 times 2 times 4 is 64xy, and then plus 2 times 2 times 4 is 16y. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now we have to square out this. We get 64x squared plus 32x plus 4. So our answer is 64x cubed plus 32x plus 64xy plus 16y plus 16y squared plus 4. Oh, I guess they just left them like this. 64x squared plus 32x plus 4 plus 64xy plus 16y squared plus 16y. Looks like letter C is the right answer. And you do the same thing as multiplying as you did before with functions. So in this case, find f times g. So it's 3x plus 1 times 2x minus 5. Let's FOIL it. 6x squared plus 2x minus 15x is minus 13x minus 5. That's f of g, or f times g of x. And then we substitute in 2, and we get 6 times 2 squared minus 13 times 2 minus 5. 2 squared is 4, 24, minus 26 minus 5 is negative 7. Okay, So we have 3x squared minus 1 times 8x plus 7 is 24x cubed minus 8x plus 21x squared minus 7. We should switch these two around, shouldn't we? So f times g of x is 24x cubed plus 21x squared minus 8x minus 7. And then f times g of negative 2 is 24 times negative 2 cubed plus 21 times negative 2 squared minus 8 times negative 2 minus 7. Negative 2 cubed is negative 8. 24 times negative 8 is a lot. I get out my calculator for that. My brain is not working so good. 24 times negative 8 is negative 192. 21 times 4 is 84. 32, notice negative makes positive, minus 7. So negative 192 plus 84 plus 32 minus 7 is negative 83. Okay, same thing here. F times g is 5x times 9x minus 4 is 45x squared minus 20x. Okay, that was easy enough. And that's where we're going to stop. We're going to do the